I wanted to explain how I came to the conclusion of what cable was what and what process I used. There is a lot of wiring in this machine, and it is very confusing. One thing that was really cool is that whoever made this machine labeled every single plug, both sides. And this diff, there's a lot of those diffs because all of the input output goes to this board, which they call diff. I think that's like data in. I don't know what that means, but this board right here, and I got two of everything in my auction that I won, or when I purchased this. So because I had two of most things, not everything, but I got extra heads, extra circuit boards, so I could kind of look at one board and kind of run the machine. And every one of these connectors is numbered, so like connector 35, connector 51. And so I also got these technical manuals that had some very interesting information in them, and I made copies of I didn't get schematics, unfortunately, but I got the next best thing. I got a listing of all the signal buses, basically all the wiring. So the whole map is here, and the first thing I did was go through here and find everywhere that there's a diff connection, which corresponds to these connectors. So most of what runs the machine almost entirely is on this board. All the connectors are here. All of them are listed out here, just about. I made an index to each page of all the connectors that are listed on each page. So basically, I can just go over to the machine and say, oh, diff connector 15, and then I can come over here, and with any luck, it's one that I've found and located, etc. I saw something very troubling. This. On connector 42, we have this caught my eye, there were differential pairs. And then I was like, uh-oh, receive, transmit. So that means the head I/O board has a computer on it. So that makes everything trickier, because a brain means there's protocol, it means there's code, it's not just a dumb switch, there's actual. So luckily I had a second head I/O board because I got two of most of the parts. And if you flip it over here, that's going to be a problem. There's a brain on this board. This is the head I/O board, and let's see, let's adjust it here. This chip needs to go because it's a proprietary board, closed software. I have no clue what's on it. So I'm going to attempt a brain transplant. I want to keep the board. I like these motor drivers. I like these plugs. They've already got some circuitry for analog stuff. Like, I think there's stuff here worthy of keeping. What I have here is one of my favorite microcontrollers. It's an AVR 8-bit. Good old Atmel, Atmega. This is a clone of the Arduino, what do they call it, Arduino Mega. I don't use the Arduino tools, I just do it in raw C with the AVR dude and all that, but I love these chips. I love them. And then it also has the bonus that this is 5 volt. You can get like all these ARM chips that are super powerful and amazing, but they're all like 3 volt and 1 volt. And this is a hot air gun, just a cheap little, it's basically just a heat gun that I got on Amazon. I leave it unplugged because I'm worried it's going to burn my house down, so I just plugged it in. Who knows what fumes I'm breathing here. We don't want to cook the traces off the board. It's pretty easy to do with these thin little traces. Come on, you. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. This solder has not seen any heat in a long time. I only really get one shot at doing this. Because if this fails, then you're really going to risk. Crank that temperature up. Getting nice and boom, keep going. Or maybe denatured, or I usually use alcohol and acetone are my two solvents, so I'm just kind of hitting it with that to get rid of all this nasty, crusty stuff. And then the bridge is going to short 2 pins out. Just the cleaner and more organized you can be, the better luck you'll have, the nicer the experience. Use another Q-tip for a final soak up the nasty stuff. Boom. Look how nice and clean that is. Much better. What I've done is I took this board, and it's just a 2-layer board, so you notice if you hold it up to the light, you can see easily both sides. And I drilled some holes in it. by holding it up to the light, I identified the spots where I could drill a hole with the minimum amount of damage to the traces. So you can see there that I just kind of picked some random spots, and then I took that and I put it on graph paper, and I traced that hole pattern. And so this is a chance for me to learn a little bit about FreeCAD, a program I've been playing with. And I'm going to measure these holes and draw something up in FreeCAD. And then what I'm going to try to do is 3D print a little mount to put this board right on top. So come into FreeCAD. By the way, free, F-R-E-E, FreeCAD. This is all running on Ubuntu, which is a free operating system. FreeCAD. It's pretty darn cool, even though I don't know how to use it. And then I just traced it. It's embarrassingly bad. I traced it with just linear polygon. I didn't do any curves. I need to learn how this program works. It's embarrassing. This is another free program, entirely free. I brought it in, and you just slice it and then send it on over to the 3D printer. This is my really laughably hokey little 3D printed part, and this will sit on top. I think with enough hole drilling, nylon spacers, tiny little bolts, and screwing around with it, I should be able to get that board to all sort of just sit on there. And then I get to begin the fun process of wiring all this junk into there. So the good news is I don't think I'll have to do anything like this again. This is the quote complex, quote unquote, most complex part of this. And it'll be kind of cool. So this is, I'm kind of thinking of this as like a GPIO, like general purpose in out, but it's got some actuator controls, and so this will just kind of be the new brain of the new machine. End of day 3.